facts.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it.
Wow, it's been a while.
Yeah, the male thing scares me.
We're gonna.
Was that 0.5% every year or 0.9?
0.9.
Well, welcome back to the No State Project. Wow, I wish we had more time on the live broadcast, but this is great. Scary in a sense.
It
I know
is.
you're going to really get us into some scary stuff. We're talking with Wendy Sellens, the author of Breast Cancer Boot Camp, not Breast Boot Camp. that I.
Which I think I want to join now. What does that mean? I'm already
Yeah,
like,
my wife.
"Huh."
I'm starting the Breast Boot Camp.
I love it. I think I might change the title. We might make it a little bit more fun. I might get more listeners. I might get more followers.
I'll definitely get more. Yeah, there's pictures in the book. But this thing you were mentioning was kind of scary because there's a connection between with eating flax and a lot of hummus, a lot of these phytoestrogens, where there's a connection with low testosterone in men.
Yeah. And what they're seeing is, chapter 6 is my favorite chapter. I just hint at it. I don't really get into this argument. There's other people doing the argument for me. It's called Ecoterrorism, chapter 6. And I've taken information from foundations, and they're showing the feminizations of the male species in the wild. For example, turtle eggs. So they expose turtle eggs. Turtle eggs are at a certain temperature will be male or female. So they take the male temperature, expose it to a synthetic estrogen and a plant estrogen, a phytoestrogen, and it becomes female. So you're seeing the male species, undescended testes, being born without glands, meaning the penis. It's fascinating. And what we know is in the early 1900s, the male gland size has dropped a third. So you're seeing more children born with undescended testes. You've seen men having smaller testicles. And then what's interesting is you're seeing testicular cancer increase.
And my grandfather actually died from that.
Oh,
But
really?
it
I'm
was
sorry.
1941.
Oh.
But back then, I mean, I know now today, I know the butchers come out and they,
Yeah.
they put it, was it the rubber band? But in 1941 you died, and that's what happened. And so there's, I know that you have something like that, you're supposed to be at increased risk. So yeah, this is not as fun a show as when it started.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but that's what I really.
Information dense.
Yeah, and that's why it's affecting our children. And people think, oh, I'm going to go home and I'm going to give my child flax and thinking I'm helping them, but you're creating hormonal disorder. And what's really scary is look at menarche is the first period. Normal age is 14 to 16. I had a lady call in and her daughter had her first period at 5. And what do the doctors want to do?
That I've heard. I haven't heard as early as 5.
I hadn't
heard
either.
7, 8.
She about knocked me off my own chair because I've heard 7 and 8. But 5, and what do they want to do? Birth control pills. That's all they can do.
So you're saying that
Just remove the estrogen out
get
of
rid
their
of
life.
wow.
Yeah.
5?
Yeah, and she actually did it. What's interesting is her daughter's now 10, and she did her own research, and she started making changes, which is scary. It's very scary to do this on your own and to have no doctor support you. So when she found my book, it was retribution for her. She was very happy that she chose not to do hormones because that's going to cause more damage. If you're on birth control pills, you have it's 4 times risk of breast cancer, which is very scary because what they do is they put us. Me and I'm in my mid-40s. What do they do to you when you're a little kid? You have cramps, so they give you birth control
Give you
pills
birth control.
for cramps. Instead of addressing the root cause, let's just mask it.
Trick the body to think it's pregnant.
Trick the body to think it's pregnant, which is
All the time.
Wow.
And now think of that. Think of the harm you're doing on a developing child
right, and then
versus at 21.
and then you add in if they don't have kids or if they have kids and they don't nurse.
And then it just gets worse, and then it just compounding.
So you mentioned that there was an increase in breast cancer?
Yes. Okay. So in 1940, it was 1 in 20, and that was the first year estrogen was released. The first estrogen pill. And I think in 1970 it was 1 in 13, 1980, 1 in 11, and 1992 it was 1 in 8, and now it's predicted 1 in 7 in the next few years.
Well, so now, like in the 70s, there was this huge push for soy.
Yes.
And so you've got soybean oil in
Yeah.
so much. So is there actually a
Yes.
scientific link that you can, or at least a correlation? I know that you can show and graph that as the American diet, for example, increased its use of soy, that there may be a corresponding increase in breast cancer.
I think it's still correlation.
It's still-
But that's what I would refer to the whole soy story. But this is what's interesting.
Say that 12 times fast.
The whole soy story, the whole soy story. Oh my gosh, I rock. Dang, I'm good. So, what was fascinating in the 80s, most women were non-vascular, meaning you can't see the vascularity in the infrared image. And in the 80s, Dr. Hobbins, my mentor, my teacher, who the book is named after, started noticing the vascularity. And he's wondered what is causing this increase, because it's increasing the risk for cancer. And he did some detection work on himself, or a little bit of detective work, and found out, oh my gosh, soy is in all these processed foods. And then the same thing happened in the 90s when flax became popular. I have to tell you one thing. It's
Sure.
really hard hearing
Scare me
this.
some more.
It's really hard hearing this for the first time. And I was having a hard time, and he said, you know what, Wendy, you're a physician, you need to start doing your own research. And my first pilot study was flax. And I was going to prove him wrong. You're crazy! Everyone's taking flax. Flax for everybody. It's a breast health. No. 6-month study had to be cut off after 6 weeks. I saw increased vascularity in 6 weeks, and the girl that I did it on gained 10 pounds, became highly emotional, and she said, I'm going to lose my mind and kill my coworkers. And I said, well, you realize you're on flax, and that's the same as putting you on a birth control pill. And she about lost it. Study's over. And I said, okay, well, thanks. We've got enough. And we can see in just 6 weeks the difference in your breast, so we're good to go.
And the scientific evidence is there. It is absolutely directly caused by
I got 2 hands.
Yeah.
the
And this is
estrogen.
43 years of evidence, hundreds of thousands of thermograms, because it's not just, it's the doctor that preceded me too. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking very specific supplements and using these on my patients. What's amazing about thermography or infrared imaging is that you can test foods, you can test supplements, you can test lotions. So all my patients come into me and they say, look, I found this great supplement, I want to see if it works. Let's see if it works. No change, getting worse. That's what I do. And that's why I started a nonprofit, because we could have unbiased research on products and see, you're spending billions. Americans are spending billions on supplements. How do you know it's even working?
Well, that's because it's mostly snake oil and
Thank you.
mainly things that are going to hurt you anyway. There's so much. I'm not saying I'm calling for regulation. I just think
Me
that
either. I'm not saying that.
You would
Just-
think in this day and age, though, people could see past the whole supplement. I actually got fired from a job because I've done personal training and train athletes and help rehab, and my whole thing was, if man made it, don't eat it. And they wanted me to sell supplements, and I said no. That goes against my whole thing, and
I have a whole chapter on supplements that explains how they actually, how do you know it's even working? And
well, you don't. Not only that, but they've been shown, some of them have been shown to have side effects.
yes,
And these ridiculous, I train at home, thank goodness now, but they actually will sell people trying to lose weight protein shakes. Are you out of your mind? I had 2 clients who had been losing weight, and after I got fired, and they were leaving with tubs. And before I moved out here, I worked at part-time with Twin Labs. I would not.
Well, what's interesting is I list a study in here showing how multivitamins are actually very toxic to the body. They did a 5-year study, I think, trying to prove that a multivitamin was healthy, and I can't remember, I think Sweden. 30,000 women, 5 years. Guess what? 19% increase in breast cancer.
And that can be connected directly to.
Well, here's the problem. In a multivitamin, you have to realize you're taking several ingredients and trying to put it into one tiny little pill. So if people want to supplement, let's just start with 1 or 2, because vitamins, you have water soluble, you have they're alkaline, they're acidic. They're not complementary. It's not synergistic. So you're putting something that's you have tons of different ingredients that you're trying to say, oh, it's going to work together in the body, but they're not. they're fighting each other in your body and creating toxicity. Or what goes into that supplement? What's that little gelatin made of? And it has a preservative. It's been sitting on a shelf for 2 years.
Yeah,
Supplements are little and they're interesting.
I
I don't
agree.
really
Stay
discuss
away.
them too much, but it's a hard pill to swallow.
Well, I remember the guy
I'm just
saying.
saying.
Yeah, we're out of time, but I remember the guy saying to me before he fired me, "Can't you bend on this one thing?" No. Why? Because I'm not a whore. I'm not here just to make you money.
Exactly.
I care about these people. I'm not going to go against my own principles. So yeah, again, any principle you were standing up for. I appreciate you coming on. We're completely out of time.
Thank
My
you
name is
for
Mark.
your
My name is Mark Stevens. Thanks, Calvin, and everyone.